Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Citibank Limited's earning disclosure event of the third quarter of 2022. I am Samia Sanjana and I'll be your host for the event. At Citibank, we take great pride in engaging the investment community in our endeavors. While disclosing our performances and actions, we adhere to a strict code of full transparency and responsibility. Citibank has always measured its success not only in terms of its bottom line numbers, but also in terms of the goals it has set for itself in order to become one of the topmost banks in Bangladesh. Our success is attributed to the continued growth of our business as well as the market's evolution to satisfy the increasingly sophisticated expectations of our respected clients in the areas of liquidity, service, reliability, and mobility. We have made it this far with the help of our community, team, and stockholders by tenaciously adhering to the motto of service and trust. In light of this, we have gathered here today to discuss the bank's current financial situation and its forward-looking strategies. Today, we have here amongst us the Honorable Additional Managing Director and Chief Financial Officer of the Citibank Limited, Mr. Mohammad Mahbubur Rahman, Deputy Managing Director and Head of Corporate Banking, Mr. Nurullah Chowdhury, Head of Credit Risk Management and Acting Chief Risk Officer, Mr. Misbaul Asif Siddiqui, and finally, Head of Internal Control and Compliance, Mr. AKM Saifullah Kausar. However, due to an urgently scheduled official meeting with Bangladesh Bank Governor, our Managing Director and CEO, Mr. Masroor Arkan, will not be joining today's session. Before we continue, I'd like to let you know that the time frame for today's event was designed to accommodate participation from different time zones and local and international locations. I would also like to mention that our question and answer session is now accessible and can be found in the bottom right corner of your displays. During our presentation, you're welcome to log in and ask any relevant questions in the window. Depending on the time allotted for the program, we will do our best to answer as many as we can. We shall start with our Additional Managing Director and CFO, Mr. Mahbubur Rahman, presenting the financial performance and talking about bank's views and forward-looking strategies, followed by a Q&A session at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to call upon Citibank Limited Additional Managing Director and CFO, Mr. Mohammad Mahbubur Rahman, to start with the financial performance presentation and his speech.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. It's our great pleasure to present our third quarter financial results with you. Now I'm going to actually share my presentation. Hope you can see.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay, sure. So I like before, I will present our profit and loss account along with our balance sheet, and also we'll discuss about our business performance simultaneously, so that you can relate our financial performance with our business performance. So in our first slide, we are starting with our loans and advance, and so also the interest income. The interest income, you all know that it comes from our loans and advance. So here you can see that in this 9 months, actually, we have our loan book has grown by 30% compared to 2021. But total closing figure at the end of third quarter is showing 30% growth compared to at the end of compared to 2021. But if you actually compare or consider our 9 month growth, our average growth is around 15%. When actually the country grew by 14%, country's private sector credit growth grew by 14%. Our growth was 15%. And in the last year, in the same period, our loan growth was around 14%. So we are actually having quite consistent growth in our loans and advance. But if you look at our interest income, which grew by 19%. In 9 months, we have earned 18.4 billion taka in interest income, which was 15.4 billion taka in last year. So we have made actually considerable growth in interest income, and main reason for having this growth is actually our yield has actually grown, which was 6.47% in 9 months of last year, and which grew to 6.77% in this year. Despite actually having some challenging situation in the market, we all know that because of the global situation, we are actually doing quite well in loans and advance, and our yield on advance has grown, and also our loan is growing quite consistently. Here you can see that we are also showing actually a little bit longer term performance of this bank. We have been going consistently every year, and also here actually you can see that how actually we are transforming our portfolio into more diversified area. In 2018, our corporate book contributed for 59% of the loan, and which has come down to 52% at the end of this third quarter. And if you look at the small microfinance growth, which was only 1% few years back, now it contributes 7% of the loan book. This retail book has grown from 13% to 14%. So these are some area actually we are going quite fast and quite strategically, and it is actually due to we are actually this is the strategy we have been following for some time consistently, and this strategy is now giving actually a dividend to us, and by having diversified portfolio. And when actually we will have the favorable interest rate situation, and this will actually improve the bank's performance by many-fold. Now, deposit. Also, our deposit grew by 17% from 2021 and reached 330 billion taka at the end of third quarter. Last year, we grew by 9.8%. So this year, actually, even in this difficult situation, our deposit growth was quite substantial and quite satisfactory, and that has actually put bank into strong liquidity situation. We are maintaining all liquidity ratios very healthy, in a healthy way, like advanced deposit ratio, liquidity coverage ratio, net stable funding ratio. We are actually having quite actually strong liquidity position in the market. But if you look at the interest expense, you can see that the interest expense actually grown quite substantially. In this 9 months, our interest cost was 9.3 billion taka, which was 6.4 billion taka last year, and grew by 45%. And because actually our cost of deposit has grown from 2.5% to 3.1%. And you all know that the central bank has given a circular by which they have actually tagged the term deposit rate with the inflation. So we cannot actually offer term deposit rate below inflation rate. So that because of this reason, our cost of deposit has increased from 2.5 to 3.1. But if you look at the bottom of this presentation, here you can see that our term deposit cost actually increased by actually higher than the overall cost of deposit. It was 3.77% and increased to 4.92%. So it has increased more than 1.2%, whereas our cost of deposit has increased by 60 bips. So that means actually we are actually, though actually our term deposit cost is going higher than the overall cost, that means we are actually managing cost of deposit quite efficiently actually. And in the following slide, we'll show how actually we are maintaining this cost of deposit. In the left-hand side, you can see that we are having consistent deposit growth over last few years. And so this year, actually, our growth is even higher compared to previous years. But in the right-hand side, you can see that how actually we are actually also transforming our deposit books mix. In 2018, our deposit book was deposit book actually mostly contributed by term deposit, which was 64%, and CASA was 36%. Now, even after increase of cost of deposit, we are attracting more current and savings account. So, and it is now 50-50. Current and savings accounts portion is 50% and term deposit is 50%. So because of actually very strong and effective strategy, we are actually growing very fast in current and savings account, and uh, and we have actually created lots of actually value pillar, lots of sources actually by which actually we are actually having higher growth in current savings accounts. Like we have launched women banking, we have relaunched our Islamic banking. Our internet banking is one of the most popular internet banking in the country. Our employee banking is also having a tremendous growth, by which we are also increasing our current and savings account. And our cash management also doing tremendous job, and they are giving a very state-of-the-art solution for our corporate, large corporate to small corporate and SMEs, and these all these things actually are contributing to this higher growth in current and savings account. In this slide also you can see that even in this volatile situation, actually how actually we are maintaining our NIM, our spread. In green line actually represent our spread. In this year you can see that though the yield and the cost deposit is increasing, and by managing our cost of deposit quite successfully, we are maintaining the spread at the rate of 3.6%. Though actually it has come down from last year, but in this year we are maintaining the spread quite successfully by having more current and savings account, and that actually has given us better cost of deposit, and actually manage to some extent manage some cost from term deposit, from the interest rate hike in the term deposit area. Investment and investment income, in the profit and loss account, investment income is one of the major component, and investment income is definitely coming from the investment that we are doing in our most of the investment we are doing with our government treasury bill and bond, and it has grown by 10%. So investment income also grew by 9.4%, 2.4 billion taka to 2.6 billion taka. Though in this year our capital gain from investment has declined, but because of the interest rate increase from our treasury bill and bond, and also having higher investment in some bond, our investment income actually has grown. Here you can see our export import business, another major component of our banking business. Our export business has grown by 22%, from 1.6 billion taka to 1.9 billion taka. And this is also one of the core strategy of the bank, to having higher export volume, and which actually helps us to actually settle our import LCs. So import business, which basically contributes to our LC business, letter of credit business, actually has grown by 18%, from 2.8 billion taka to 3.3 billion taka. So both our export business and import business are having actually quite significant growth, and these have actually contributed to the higher growth in our commission, exchange, and brokerage income, and which has grown by 31%, from 3.9 billion taka to 5.2 billion taka. With so it's we are having quite considerable growth. If you actually have little bit actually breakdown in commission, exchange, and brokerage income, we'll see that our trade commission income from trade business has grown by 41%. And foreign exchange, definitely we all know that in this year we have actually had a good foreign exchange income, and which has grown from 1.4 billion taka to 2.1 billion taka, with around 190% growth. And we have actually, and we also know that Central Bank has given some direction, and after complying all the directives of the Central Bank, we have actually made this growth. We have transferred a portion of exchange income to our CSR as per the direction of the Central Bank. We have also complied that. And after making all the compliance, we have made this income. And so now we are going to another important area of the bank, that is the card business. Our this card business actually got quite impacted in COVID period, and now actually we have recovered from that situation. The card business has come to a normal situation. Last year, for example, in 9 months, we have issued only 70,000 cards, and this year this has increased to 29,900. So 75% increase year on year. Bill business has also increased from by 6.5% from 29.6 billion taka to 31.5 billion taka. So and the other operating income that comes from card business has also grown by around 14%, from 1.5 billion to 1.7 billion taka. So after considering all this interest income and minus interest expense, then investment income, commission income, and other operating income, our total revenue has actually, on a consolidated basis, and grown by 10.3%, from 16.9 billion taka to 18.7 billion taka on a consolidated basis. But we also know that our capital market is not performing well in this year. The overall trade has declined by more than 30%. So that's why our subsidiaries actually revenue has declined quite substantially, which we'll explain this thing in later. But if you consider bank's performance on a solo basis, so our revenue has actually grown by 14%. So bank within a group actually is doing far better compared to our subsidiaries because of the market situation. So, but unfortunately, because of the capital market situation, when we are consolidating the overall performance of the group, so our revenue is showing only 10% growth. But the bank on a solo basis, which is the largest one in the group by far, actually is basically has grown by 14%. Operating expense, on the other hand, because of the high inflation and other regulatory issues, has actually increased by 20.9%, almost 21%. It was 8.2 billion taka last year in 9 months, which increased to 9.9 billion taka in this 9 months. There are two components in the operating expense. One is the staff related expense, other is the other operating expense. So staff cost has increased because we are actually also hiring people for the increase to support the actually growth of business, especially in small medium business, where actually we are having substantial growth. Also for supporting retail, we are hiring people. So because of hiring new people, our cost has increased. And also we have complied with the central bank regulation by implementing minimum salary scale for the employees. And for that reason, also the salary cost has increased. And it has increased by 22% compared to last year. And other operating expense has also increased because of actually inflation. And also we have made substantial investment in IT. And that is a part of our another vision, that is the digital banking. So we are gradually going to digital area, and for that we are investing heavily in IT. And also we have donated substantially to the CSR to support our flood victims. Also after having normalized environment after COVID, our cost has increased in many areas which are directly related to business volume. So the other cost has increased by 19%, from 3.7 billion taka to 4.4 billion taka. But our cost minimization actually initiatives are still going on. So we are actually bringing more efficiency in cost. But this increase of cost actually was actually unavoidable, and actually it will give a better return in coming days. So after deducting operating costs from the revenue, our operating profit actually remains almost flat compared to last year's 9-month result. Our operating profit was 8.8 billion taka after in 9 months of this year, which was 8.7 billion taka. So we have just a slight increase compared to last year. But again, if you consider only the bank's solo performance, our bank's operating profit actually has grown by 6.67% compared to last year. So again, on a actually solo basis, the bank is doing far better, and we'll actually discuss more in later slides. Then after operating profit, we have to charge the provision or debt charge. So here actually the debt charge has come down compared to last year. Last year we have charged 2.1 billion taka in 9 months, and this year we have charged 1.7 billion taka in first 9 months. Actually, you may say that why actually we are actually reducing the debt charge when actually the NPL volume is increasing. Actually, in last year figure, we have made actually substantial amount of provision against offshore off-balance sheet assets. So amount was around 700 million taka. So if you deduct that from the last year provision figure, then the provision would become 1.4 billion taka. So actually, 1.4 billion taka was charged against the loan. So this year 9 months we haven't charged anything for off balance sheet because we didn't need to charge anything for off balance sheet. We have the off balance sheet exposure is fully covered by provision, so that's why we didn't need to charge any provision against the off balance sheet asset. So compared to the if you only compare the debt charge against the loans and advance, which has actually increased from 1.4 billion taka to 1.7 billion taka. So that means our debt charge has increased against the loan, because our NPL has increased in volume. If you look at the volume, our NPL was 13.9 billion taka, which has increased to 15.8 billion taka. Our CR will explain more about this more on the NPL situation. But if as our loan growth was much higher, so overall our NPL ratio has actually decreased from 4.9% to 4.2%. And most important thing that whether actually how much of this NPL is covered by provision, and our provision coverage ratio is improving because we are charging more against the loan that I have explained before. So our NPL coverage ratio was 90% last year, and which has increased to 92.7%. So that is the strategy we are taking, that despite actually having some challenges regarding the NPL, we are actually covering it through adequate provision. So this is our collection process is going on. Our credit process is becoming more strong. But despite all this thing, we are keeping higher provision so that we can actually manage any unforeseen situation in coming days. So after deducting provision and income tax, our profit profit after tax in 9 months was 3.3 billion taka, which was 3.3 billion taka last year. So there is slight decline in the profitability of 21 million taka, because actually that I've already explained that actually because of the on a consolidated basis, our profit is remain same actually compared to last year. But if we only consider the solo basis performance of the bank, then our profit has actually increased by 14%. So on a solo basis, bank is doing quite good. In the following slide, in this slide, actually, you can see what actually I want to say. On the left hand on the left side in this table, you can see the Citibank result. Then we are showing City Brokerage result. Then CBCRL, which actually Citibank Capital Resource Limited, which is our merchant bank subsidiary. And then we have CBL Money Transfer, which is in Malaysia, basically dealing with remittance business. And then we have City Hong Kong. We have a subsidiary in Hong Kong, which is actually dealing with trade business. So Citibank, on a solo basis, our profitability has increased from 2.7 billion taka to 3.1 billion taka with 14% growth. So our Citibank's operating profit has grown by 7%. Profit after tax has grown by 17%, and profit after tax has grown by 14%. But City Brokerage and our merchant banks result actually have declined because of the capital markets in a situation. Their profit has declined by 64% and 52% respectively. Brokerage profit was 300 million taka, which has come down to 109 million taka in this 9 months. As our merchant bank's profitability has come down from 279 million taka to 235 million taka. But our money transfer, CBL money transfer, they are doing quite good. Their profit has doubled in this, almost tripled in this 9 months compared to last year performance, from 17 million taka to 51 million taka. And also, City Hong Kong is also doing quite well in Hong Kong. This is a very new subsidiary we have launched in 2020. So they have actually started their business in a very challenging situation, but despite all the challenge, they are actually still making, they have started making profit. So now, again, on a consolidated basis, our return on equity has declined a little bit, definitely, because our profit remains almost same, but our equity has actually increased a little bit. So because of that, actually, the return on equity on has decreased from 14.4% to 13.3%. Our return on asset also declined because actually we have actually there is a lot of also restriction of fees income, also increase of cost and increase of especially the deposit cost actually has all these things actually have counted to the decline of return on asset from 1.1% to 0.9%. Earning per share almost remains same at 2.8 taka after the completion of third quarter. But on an annualized basis, it has declined. But when actually we'll actually have last quarter result, we are hopeful that we'll be able to maintain same level of earning per share. Book value has increased slightly from 27.3 taka to 27.8 taka. Our capital adequacy ratio, or capital to risk adjusted asset ratio, has actually on a solo basis actually remains same from 14.2%, though the Tier 1 capital has declined a little bit from 10.6% to 9.2%. On a consolidated basis also, it also remains same from 13.7%, but Tier 1 capital has declined. So if we can actually end the year with better profitability, hope actually our tier 1 capital position will also improve. Now this is the last slide of my presentation. We are very happy to share with you that our bank actually has been awarded by many authorities and international institutions. For example, Finance Asia declared us as the best bank in Bangladesh in 2022. Global Finance Sustainable Global Finance on Sustainability Finance they have declared as best sustainable finance bank in Bangladesh. And in this area also we are also being recognized by our central bank. We are also considered as top 10 sustainable bank in Bangladesh. And in last 2 years consecutively, we have been receiving this award from Bangladesh Bank, and we are actually doing substantial activities in ESG area. We have actually increased our lending in sustainable finance area from 20 billion taka to 50 billion taka in 1 year. We have already financed more than 1,000 green projects, and we have become the only bank in the country who has actually become the member of United Nations Net Zero Banking Alliance. So we are only proud member of this alliance. So we are quite focused in this area. So in coming days, actually we'll do more activities, and we'll have actually more outcome from this ESG. And also we are recognized as best CSR bank in Bangladesh by Asia Money, best retail bank by Retail Bank Asia. So ADB also recognized as one of the best partner, global brand and banking and finance. They have actually also recognized our relaunching of Islamic banking and banking. And also IFC also recognized us as one of their best partner, as the best issuing bank in South Asia. So with this, actually, I'd like to end my presentation. And now we're going to MC again. And after that, probably we'll have our question answer session. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the enlightening financial performance presentations and your eloquent speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the final leg of today's event, which is the question and answer session. I will read out the questions one by one, and we will try to answer as many questions as we can given the stipulated time. Okay, so the first question is there any strategy adopted by your bank for increasing remittance flows to your bank?
Okay. Yeah, we are definitely, we have our own exchange house in Malaysia, and we are also, we have very strong tie-up with many remittance houses in the Bangladesh, and we are actually giving all kind of incentives as actually allowed by our central bank. So in this year, actually, our remittance, if you look at our remittance figure, this has actually increased substantially. For example, last year in whole year, we have got $459 million of remittance. Now we have, in this 9 months, we have actually managed more than $700 million equivalent of remittance. So our remittance business is actually going very fast, but definitely we need more because our trade business is also growing. So to support our trade business, we need more remittance. And if we have other supports from authorities, our remittance will go even higher.
Thank you, sir. The next question, do you expect any default in US dollars denominated given by your offshore branch?
No, actually, there's no question of having this kind of situation. Though actually we are definitely, we all know that we are having some challenges in the market, but we have given all this loan to the customers who have actually dollar denominated revenue. So it is naturally hedged. For example, we have given most of this loan to RMG, and they are still having high growth. So they are actually paying on time, and also we have given also some support to our power sector. They are also getting their revenue in dollar pegged. Their revenue is dollar pegged. So so far actually we haven't seen any this kind of any overdue situation in, which falls under offshore banking in India.
Thank you. The next question, the inflation rate stood at 6.96% in September 2022 on a monthly average, and Bangladesh foreign exchange reserves stood at $32.9 billion. And we do not know when Russia-Ukraine war will end. IMF predicts many countries will have recession. What is the bank's strategy for next year's huge challenge?
Yes, all these challenges are actually known to all, and that's why we have become more prudent. We don't like to say that we will become more conservative. Having prudent risk management is only way to actually manage this situation. And So our loan growth, our deposit liquidity management, our foreign currency related business, all will be actually scrutinized more, and we'll have more prudent stance. And if like in this situation, we are maintaining very high liquidity. We are maintaining higher provision coverage ratio. We are also matching our foreign currency outflow with our inflows. So whatever the mechanism a bank can do, actually we are following. So and apart from that, actually being one of the private player in the market, uh, uh, we can do more than that actually. So we are following all the prudential activities. Our CRO can also add more in this area. So we are actually now looking at the risks in a actually more closer way. So that's the only way we can actually ensure our progress or our growth. Okay, thank you. Asif, would you like to add anything regarding the
just adding from the risk point of view, basically, the when this crisis situation comes is also a threat for delinquency increases. So we are having a close watch on the account conducts of the clients, client by client. We hold the what should I say, the past due meetings, all this deteriorating credit management. We have strengthened. If you see our NPL ratio is also, that's why it's not increasing. It's in a declining trend despite these challenges. But we are always prudently monitoring the situation. Any deterioration further happen, the flag will be raised, and the business team and the risk team will work jointly to contain any further defaults. So our NPL ratio was 4.9 at the end of December 2021, has decreased to 4.2%. So that's all. If any other question, then I will come back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question, do you have any plan to reduce the number of new recruits given the overall situation?
No, we'll just definitely our recruitment will be based on our growth regarding strategy regarding the growth. So far, actually, we are having very high growth in retail business and microfinance. Considering the risk, actually, we need to actually diversify our portfolio. So our corporate is actually doing quite extremely good. And NPL ratio is corporate, I think, is one of the best in the country. So despite actually having very strong corporate book, we would like to actually grow also in other areas. Credit card is also another area. Those areas are actually need employees. Actually, it really need, because we are not fully digital yet. So so our recruitment will continue, but again, actually, we'll follow more prudent strategy. Maybe the recruitment rate will not be the same in coming days, naturally.
Thank you, sir. Next question. As you mentioned, deposits should be higher than the inflation rate as per directives of central bank. How are you aligned with the existing 6 and 9% cap?
So I've explained a little bit in my presentation. Actually, that only answer to this question is having more current and savings account. So at this moment, we are having 50% of our deposit from current and savings account. And we are not only just looking at it, we are actually want to have low cost deposit, because we are totally actually concentrating our effort for having more low cost deposit. And Citibank actually has developed lots of actually value pillars, and that we have invested heavily for that, and that those things are now giving dividend to Citibank. We have established a very strong network in retail, credit card, other segment, women banking, banking, and the ATM network, agent banking, whatnot actually. So now we are actually doing sub branches. So all these things actually basically will help us to have more low cost deposit. So this is the only answer actually to address the increase of cost of deposit. So, and we have already actually established our kind of position in the market. So I hope actually this will not become a major challenge for us.
The next question, do you expect any reduction of NIM of your bank in coming days?
No, I'm not actually. Personally, I'm not actually seeing any further reduction, as actually our cost of deposit, we'll manage our cost of deposit more efficiently, and our loan book rate shouldn't actually come down in coming days actually. So hope so our NIM should remain same, and if not better.
If the inflation remains over 8.5%, what will be your cost of fund going forward?
Yeah, it will increase our term deposit, but we'll compensate this increase of cost of term deposit by having more low cost. So probably
Next question, how many customers got nano loan from your bank?
nano loan around 80,000.
Basically, there is two
Yes,
kind. May I, if you permit?
Yes, sure. Asit, you can.
Yeah, actually, a nano loan, we have, there are two kind of information. Is there around 51,000 customers, but they have taken more than 114,000 times the disbursements. Okay, 114,000 times in terms of count. So, and there are repeat customer, they have repaid and they have also taken again. So that's in terms of the numbers of the customers.
Oh, we can say around 51,000 customers already touched.
Yeah, already touched.
Touched our digital banking for nano lending.
The next question, what will be the impact on banks on declaring defaulters in 90-day past due as proposed by IMF?
Okay, still it's not implemented. It's just we have seen in the media. Nothing came as a formal from the central bank or the government agency or the IMF. So if that situation comes, and we believe that it will not come suddenly, it will come in a process where the existing change came actually in a process of few years, and we expect if this come ever, it will also come in a process of few years. So even if it comes suddenly here, which is highly unlikely, we believe that there will be definitely NPL ratio will be increased, but it will remain around 5%. Even the 90 days is immediately is applied, and remaining all other things change. Our existing is 4.2%. It can reach up to 5%. So this also reflects the quality of our portfolio. There will be no abrupt change. There will be in the decimal level change. Thank you.
Next question. Recently, Bangladesh Bank Governor has promised to remove the 9% lending rate cap to IMF. When do you expect it to be executed?
We haven't actually heard the message in that way. We have just heard that discussions are going on. So let's see. Actually, being actually private bank, we can't actually comment on this. So that we all know that discussions are going on. So let's see.
Next question. What is your bank's strategy in the next 5 years?
Bank strategy is converting this bank into digital bank, not like just just a typical digital bank. Actually, definitely we'll have brick and mortar model as well. So we have actually our digital initiative will be more. That is the strategic area. And Islamic, we like to grow actually more in Islamic banking, then women banking and microfinance. So, and retail also. So these are the actually strategic area. for this bank, and under this all this pillar actually will actually have Citibank is known for actually introducing innovative solution for the market. So that innovative solution, giving the innovative solution for our customer is actually is the main area for our area in our strategy. So so whatever we do will give actually innovative solution for our market, for our customers.
With your permission, may I add something? Basically, within the strategy, it's current and in the future as well, we are focusing on the service quality increase, which has helped actually our CASA increase, and the service quality is continue to increase. That's the strategy. You know about our internet banking facility, which is City Charge, which has actually in last year we have touched volume is around $2 billion equivalent, and this year we are already reached as $3 billion equivalent transactions in the City Touch, which is actually have a revolutionary impact on the service level. Besides that, we are also digitalizing many of these services, which will also help increase the service level, and this will definitely will contribute to increase our deposit, especially in the low cost CASA accounts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have two more questions left, actually. What is your view about the R&D sector who is facing challenges presently?
I think we have got answer question for our Nurullah Bhai.
Actually, R&D sector at this moment, I don't see any hiccups coming in future, because there's relationships going on between US China. Everybody knows that. And if 1% of the Chinese export comes to any country, it will be first choice will be Bangladesh. So I believe on that note, and China is shifting their low-end products to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh basically a manufacturer of basic T-shirts and basic clothing. So on that note, I believe that garment sector will grow next year, which actually on a year-on basis, on a media shows that 19% decline from October 21 to October 22. But still, I'm hopeful that shifting the garments factories from China to here, the production, the garments will grow next year as well. And if we grow our garments, definitely we will have more exports, and for settlement of the import will be much more easier, and deficit comes less and less and less. So I believe the garment sector will not have any hiccups like we are now apprehending, because some buyers are deferring some orders, which is very, very minimal. And it's between a range of 30 to 45 days. So I don't see any hiccups at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. The final question, power sector going down day by day. What is the status of your bank's power sector's investment?
So I think all three of us actually will contribute, but so far actually we don't see any overdue situation in power sector, because our structure is actually has been done in quite robust way. So maybe actually from electricity user point of view, we are observing decline or some disruption. But from bank's point of view, our revenue is quite ensured. So so Asif and Nurullah Bhai will actually explain it more. Okay.
Actually, on the power sector, I would point out these payments are directly coming from the government. So I believe government still paying it on time. And some delays is there, it's like a month or so. It depends on the modus operandi of the bill submission and the bill payment from the government side. But I don't see any hiccups on that so far. And maybe a 60 days delay payment is there, but it is very much manageable. We have seen it at last time as well, but it's not any unusual things I've seen. Thank you.
So to explain it a little bit more, actually, whether actually government is taking power from the power generator or not, actually they are paying, either they will pay for the fuel bill, or they will pay for the capacity payment. So in any case, a power generating company will have revenue actually from the government. So that revenue actually will cover our investment. So in that way, actually, our investment is so far it's actually quite protected, and we haven't seen any challenges from that account. Actually.
Correct.
So if I add more, basically the payments from the government is supported by a power purchase agreement, which is the government is obligated to pay against the capacity payment, which again is a controlled mechanism, because all the payments made by the government directly comes to the lending bank's account from where the debt service is made. So our client base, which are having sufficient debt balance in the debt service account to repay our loans, and so far we don't have any past due, and we don't have any default. Default NPL is 0% in the power sector. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the event for today's earning disclosure is now complete. Before concluding, let me inform you that the recorded version of this entire event will be made available in the same web link as for the live program very shortly. Those of you who missed the live event or want to skim through it at a later time will find the whole event documented there. The financial presentation will also be available in Citibank's website under the Investor Relations section. We appreciate your participation and patience. Thank you again for your interest in Citibank and staying connected with us. Goodbye, stay safe, and stay well.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening. Bye.